Today, we're going to dive into Oracle's absolutely massive plans for Java, looking ahead to 2026. And I'm not talking about a few minor tweaks here and there. Nope. We're looking at a fundamental reimagining of a platform that millions of us use every single day. This is probably the biggest simultaneous evolution in Java's entire history. So it really makes you wonder, right? After 3 whole decades of being a dominant force, how does a language like Java not just, stick around, but actually keep leading the pack in a world that changes by the minute? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. You do it by constantly building the future. Oracle's whole strategy is broken down into these code-named projects inside OpenJDK. You can think of each one as its own specialized innovation workshop. So let's take a tour and see what's being built inside. Okay, our first stop on the tour is all about one thing: raw speed and efficiency. These are the projects laser-focused on making Java apps start up faster, hit their peak performance quicker, and use fewer resources. And that, as you know, is absolutely essential in today's cloud-first world. And leading that charge is Project Leyden. Its mission is crystal clear: go after those long-standing challenges with Java's performance. The goal? Make applications feel snappier and be way more cost-effective to run. So how in the world is Leyden going to do this? Well, a key part of the plan is something called ahead-of-time or AOT compilation. Now, traditionally, Java uses just-in-time, or JIT, which compiles code while the app is running. AOT flips that script and compiles it before you even run it. And as you can see from the chart, the payoff is huge. You get way faster startup and warm-up times because the code is ready to rock from the get-go. All right, our next stop in the performance workshop is Project Valhalla. Now, this one's a little more under the hood, but trust me, it is incredibly powerful. It's introducing something called value objects. The easiest way to think about them as super simple, lightweight containers for your data, but without all the extra baggage that usually comes with a standard Java object. Okay, so what's the bottom line for you, the developer? Well, Project Valhalla means you can build data structures that are packed way more tightly in memory, and that leads to fewer memory lookups and a really nice performance boost, especially if you're crunching huge amounts of data. It's all about making things more efficient at the very core. Okay, let's move on to our next workshop. This one is all about the developer experience, because it's not just about how fast the code runs, right? It's also about how easy and, frankly, how enjoyable it is to write. This is where Java is making some huge leaps to make our lives a whole lot easier. And there are 2 main projects driving this forward. First, you've got Project Loom, which is set to completely change the game for concurrency, one of the trickiest parts of programming. Then there's Project Amber, which is all about those small but amazing language features that just make your day-to-day coding so much smoother. So let's take a closer look at Project Loom. Its secret weapon? Something called virtual threads. These are ridiculously lightweight threads that are managed by the JVM itself, not the operating system. What this means is you can write simple, clean code that can handle literally millions of concurrent tasks without even breaking a sweat. It's a huge deal. And hey, this isn't some far-off fantasy. A huge piece of Loom, the Structured Concurrency API, is already well on its way to being finalized. It's actually expected to become a standard part of Java by the end of 2026. This is a massive step in taming one of the biggest beasts in programming. Now, let's chat about Project Amber. The whole philosophy here is totally different from the big, sweeping changes of a Project Loom. Amber's all about the little wins, those quality-of-life features that smooth out common coding headaches and just make the language more pleasant to work with. So what's cooking in the Amber workshop for 2026? Well, they're looking at things like string templates to make formatting text way easier, more powerful pattern matching, and even more refinements to records. Each one might seem small on its own, but you add them all up and it's a major boost for our productivity. All right, for our final stop, we're visiting the workshops that are all about connectivity. I mean, let's be real. In today's world, no language can be an island. So a huge part of Java's future is making it dead simple to connect with code and systems written in totally different languages, from native C++ libraries to Python-based machine learning models. First up here is Project Panama. Its main goal is to finally replace the old, kind of clunky Java native interface, JNI, with a modern, safe, and super fast API. It's basically about knocking down the walls between the JVM and the rest of the native code world. And the work they're doing for 2026 is super concrete. We're talking a full toolkit for interoperability. The heart of it is the foreign function and memory API, but it's also supported by awesome tools like JExtract, which makes pulling in native libraries almost trivial, and of course the continued evolution of the vector API for serious high-performance computing. And that brings us to what might be the most forward-looking workshop of all, Project Babylon. Get this isn't just about calling foreign code, it's about embracing entire foreign programming models. The idea is to weave paradigms like SQL or the stuff used in machine learning right into the Java language itself, seamlessly. And this is where it gets really, really exciting. A major focus for Babylon is a feature they're calling code reflection. Basically, think of it as a way for Java code to look at itself and transform into a different programming model. For instance, they're already using it in proofs of concept to take Java code and run it directly on a GPU for machine learning tasks. I mean, wow, that could be a total game changer for AI and the Java world.
Okay, we've toured the workshops, we've seen a ton of mind-blowing projects, so let's just take a step back and pull it all together. What does this gigantic wave of innovation actually mean for you and me, the everyday Java developer? This summary table here just lays it all out perfectly. You can see a direct line from each project to a real, tangible benefit for us. Leyden gives us faster cloud-native apps. Valhalla means better performance with more efficient data. Loom makes building high-throughput apps way, way simpler. Panama lets us use native libraries without a headache. And Babylon, it's opening the door to running ML models right on the GPU. When you look at the whole picture, three powerful themes just jump out. It is all about cranking up performance for the cloud, boosting developer productivity to make coding faster and more fun, and improving interoperability so Java can play nicely with the entire tech world. And this leaves us with one last big question to think about. This whole thing isn't just a collection of updates, it's a deep, strategic investment in every part of the platform. So, with this roadmap, is Oracle actually building the foundation for Java to not just stay relevant, but to lead development for the next 30 years? It's a bold vision for sure, and one we're definitely going to be watching.